Caspar's come all the way down from Lancaster with Atkinson, with his mother and brother, who've come down from Atkinson's Coffee up in Lancaster. I think if we can just ask the judges to come on. Caspar's desperate to get into this. Is that right? Judges, yeah. This direction, Tim, rather than... Yeah.
Hiya. 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 Hiya.
Good luck.
Hiya, thank you. Thank you. Hiya, thanks.
Okay, Caspar, I think you've been here before, second time on this stage. You know the drill. Raise your hand to start the clock. Remember at the end of your presentation to raise your hand again. Everybody here wish you the best of luck. Enjoy yourself and take it away in your own time.
Thank you. Okay. Time. Hi. As we all know, a cup of coffee is the product of a long chain of processes. And from seed to cup, it passes through many hands, and mine are the last. As a barista, there's a lot of things I can do to improve the taste of a cup of coffee. But when I get it, there's got to be something magical inside that tiny seed for me to unlock. I'm quite young in the world of coffee, and I know there's a vast amount for me yet to learn. But that's what fascinates me. Sometimes I taste a cup of coffee and I don't know why it tastes so good. From the DNA of the varietal, or the terroir that it was grown in, or the farming practices. But it's the complexity of this long chain that inspires me and encourages me to learn more about why it tastes that way, and encourages me to think how I can improve how I brew it. First of all, I need to prepare some parts for my signature drink. But whilst I do, in front of you is a bowl of my coffee ground. So if you give it a shake and take off the lid and just smell it and get to know and enjoy those aromas.
Said before, the competitors make 4 espressos for the judges, 4 cappuccinos and 4 signature drinks. They can choose which order to serve those drinks to the judges.
So, the coffee that I'm using today is from a farm that goes to really great lengths to make really tasty coffee. That farm is the Granja La Esperanza in the Val del Cauca region of Colombia. It was established about 90 years ago and has been passed down through 4 generations. But a few years ago, they started to experiment with new varietals. They're actually the first farm in Colombia to successfully cultivate geisha coffee. The one that I have today is a geisha from the Las Margaritas lot. It's grown in volcanic soil, 1,400 to 2,000 meters above sea level, with intense solar radiation under soft cloud cover. Now first, whilst your palates are fresh, I'm going to serve this to you as an espresso.
Casper starting with his 4 espressos. He's put down the preparatory work for his signature drink. That's 5 minutes, Caspar, 10 remaining.
Thank you. This espresso exhibits some classic geisha traits. So in the aroma, you'll get floral notes of jasmine, bergamot, and Darjeeling tea. In the cup, you'll get an apricot-like sweetness. That'll be met with a delicate malic acidity. And it's got a soft, creamy body. I'm serving these in cold cups to bring the temperature down, but if you give it a good stir as well before you drink it, that'll cool it a bit more. And whilst you evaluate those, I'll prepare the first 2 cappuccinos. Thanks.
Let's give Caspar a great big round of applause for those espressos. Thank you. So Caspar, along with all the other competitors today, all vying for place in the semi-finals of the UK Barista Championship. So 20 people go through from this 4 days of competition to the semi-finals. And as well as that, there are prizes each day this week, or trophies, for the best espresso, the best cappuccino, the best signature drink of each day. In milk, the sweetness of this coffee is really heightened, but some of those fruit notes are slightly subdued. So this allows some more of the sugar browning flavours to come through. Someone clear the espressos away. So you should get notes of milk chocolate, vanilla, and toasted almonds. Before planting this coffee, a lot of research was done. Head agronomist Hernando Tapasco actually moved to the famous Hacienda La Esmeralda in Panama for a year to research the varietal. Be right back with 2 more. Let's give Caspar some support for those 4 cappuccinos. See the judges moving the microphone around the top of the cappuccinos as they assess it. Seems a bit of a shame when you see nice latte artwork like that on top. Caspar, that's just coming up to 10 minutes, 5 remaining.
Thank you. Initially, growing these trees was a huge risk because they were the first of their kind in Colombia. But a few years on, this coffee's won multiple awards, and I'm inspired by the level of detail that they go into to ensure really high quality. Weather stations have been set up around the farm to help inform harvesting decisions. Cherry pickers undergo a strict training regime, and they're paid by the day, not by weight, so they only pick the ripest cherries to give a sweet cup. Before wet milling, the cherries are checked with a bricks meter to check the sugar content, and then they're processed accordingly. There are actually 95 different quality checkpoints in this coffee's life before it even gets to export. Thanks.
Another round of applause for Caspar's last 2 cappuccinos, thank you. The main trouble with this, if you're not a judge, is that all these lovely coffees being made and we can't actually get to them. We hear all about it.
With my signature drink, I wanted to deconstruct this coffee a little bit and think about its sweetness, acidity and its bitterness, but also its character. It's floral and refreshing. So I wanted to serve this coffee chilled. But when you ice an espresso, however, something is lost. Due to the breakdown of chlorogenic acids and the lack of vapor to carry the aromas, its character's changed quite a bit. So I'm using a couple of ingredients just to give something back, bring it back into a bit of balance, but also just to accentuate its flavours that it has. So for the sweetness, I've been reducing down a syrup using apricots and palm sugars. The bergamot of some Earl Grey tea works with the apricot a little bit, just to give a pinch of acidity. And some Darjeeling tea adds just a hint of bitterness in the background, but also helps accent some of those floral flavours that it has in the espresso. And finally, I wanted to share this drink with you, hoping that it would remind you of some of the amazing flavours that are present in a coffee naturally sometimes, because it's this that inspires us to learn why it tastes the way it does and encourages us to experiment with new practices all the way along the chain, whether it's growing or roasting or myself as a barista. I hope you've enjoyed this coffee as much as I have, and I want to thank you for your time.
1 minute remaining.
Time.
Fantastic. Caspar, could you come away from the station? Come over here, Caspar. So, a minute to spare. Cruised in there. How did that go?
It's quite fast, wasn't it?
It was very fast. But you said everything you wanted to say?
I think so.
Yeah?
As long as it all made sense.
Well, it made sense to me listening to it. It sounded great. It sounded really interesting.
Good.
I mean, it's been amazing for me because I've known you for a number of years now and your family, and the journey you've come through in coffee, sort of initially sort of learning and watching your father roasting coffee and so on, and getting into it in that way, and then coming into it, 3 years ago, sort of more full time?
Yeah, last time I competed 3 years.
I mean, it's been a huge change, and you seem to have learned a fantastic amount about coffee. I mean, do you want to tell a bit about what you sort of do in your everyday work?
A little bit of everything.
Yeah, just a bit of a flavour of what you do every day.
We just sort of sit around in the office and hang out really on the sofa.
Drink coffee.
No, not really. We've got 2 cafes and a roastery, and quite a few wholesale customers. So I do a lot of the wholesale training, look after both of our cafes, but they've both got a great team, so they run themselves pretty well. I run across a road back and forth hundreds of times, basically, is what I do.
Stay
all
fit,
day.
tasting the coffee. I mean, you spend a lot of time, don't you, working with the coffees and using different methods of extraction to play with them and understand them?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. I think quite a lot from what I've seen. Tell us about the coffee you used today again. Just give us, the people here, a bit more information about how you came across that coffee and what really interested you about it.
It's a geisha, which is a Ethiopian varietal, but this is grown in Colombia at a farm that is just really progressive, grows lots of tasty coffee. I think a lot of my favourite coffees tend to be East African, Kenyan and Ethiopians, but this has got a lot of those sweet floral characteristics like a Yirgacheffe, say, but it's kind of like a little bit more balanced. It just makes it really good. Okay.
So, and when you made your signature drink, because you did a bit of that work at the start of your presentation, I imagine that some of the people out there probably didn't quite catch up with what you were doing. Do you want to tell us a bit about what you infused and how you put that together?
Basically, it was just chopped apricots in water with a bit of sugar, simmering away on a heat to make like a syrup. Some tea, some Earl Grey tea and some Darjeeling tea, mixed in with the espressos in an ice bath, and then just served over ice.
Okay, and what did that, I mean, just sort of, can you say why you picked those particular complementary ingredients and flavours?
They were just like some of the main flavour components I thought that the coffee had. So I just really wanted to play with that, accentuate it a little bit.
Okay, so you pleased with the way that went? Shots came out well?
I think so.
Yeah.
We'll see on the score sheets.
Okay, well, very well done. Great presentation. It looked absolutely split perfect the way you went through it there. Great work. Great lot of practice, I know. Caspar Steel.
Thank you.